Hey guys, it's me again, Greg from Dadpad Gaming. This time with a review for the Arc System Works developed DNF Duel. The first thing that we have to ask ourselves is, well, where did DNF Duel even come from? To keep it short, there is a side-scrolling MMO entitled Dungeon Fighters Online, and that is the source material for DNF Duel. So what exactly is DNF Duel? This, of course, is a fighting game. More specifically, what you would call an anime fighter. It definitely builds on the easy to learn, difficult to master moniker that most good fighting games works off of. You have 4 face buttons and each one of those is responsible for an attack. There's a light, a medium, a heavy, and then what's called like a MP skill. Light, mediums, and heavies for the most part are self-explanatory, but the MP skills is what makes this game interesting. Every character has the ability to do anywhere from about 3 to 5 different special moves, all mapped to your MP skills. MP skills are mapped to the X button on PS5 and PS4. You can usually use down and X, up and X, left and X, right and X, or neutral X. And most directions are going to give you a different attack per character. And while it does come off as easy to have these quick inputs for special moves, it's actually quite deep. The name of the game is resource management because every time you use an MP skill, you actually have an MP gauge that will decrease. And depending on how much damage you've taken in the battle, your damage actually siphons in to increase your MP gauge, heightening your chances for a comeback later on in the battle. It's these mechanics that sets DNF Duel apart from other fighters and really makes you question when the best time is to go all out with hopes of mantling a victory in the 11th hour of that battle. So, what does DNF do well? Well, there's the obvious. By now, anyone who is a part of the FGC, or the fighting game community for the uninitiated, knows one thing for certain. Arc System Works puts together the best looking fighting games on the market, and that's definitely on display here. Animations are fluid and beautiful, character designs look great, and though they are somewhat pervy, most of the bad stuff is really left to the modding community on the PC side of things. There is the occasional obvious butt clip or boob clip, but for the most part, this is one of those that'll more or less be safe to play around the kids. But away from aesthetic, what really shines here are the actual fighting mechanics. While I wouldn't go as far as saying that I'm a professional fighter, I am a fighting game purist, and the idea of easy button special moves was a little weird to me at first. But the incorporation of the MP gauge manages to keep things balanced so that way you don't have to worry about anyone spamming one ability too often. And when it does happen, usually a little bit of patience and ingenuity will help you to work around those spamming attacks. One of the reasons why quick commands actually work in this game is because there's a system that balances things out. In the event that you want to use an MP skill, again, X and the direction of your choice will take care of things. But you also have the option to use traditional inputs in order to use these attacks. And these will usually be quarter circle forward, backwards, or shoryuken motion into X. Traditional inputs are set apart by one major factor. Anytime you use a quick command, your MP gauge is drained, and it will take a few seconds before it actually starts to rebuild itself. But if you use the traditional inputs, your MP gauge will start to recharge immediately after use. And that may not sound like much, but trust me, this is a game where you don't want to be caught on empty when you're defending against your enemy. Another thing that I do feel that DNF does really well is the training mode. While it's not perfect, one thing that I really appreciate is In the tutorial, they give you a breakdown of each character, and while that breakdown isn't terribly descriptive, it gives you enough information about a character before selecting them that you'll have a general idea of what the expected playstyle is, and you'll know what the quirks of that character are before you even start practicing. They even go as far as showing you each neutral ability and MP skill for each character, giving you a little bit of connotation to what is the best context to use each one of these abilities in. It's really cool. There's even a wide range of different modes to go for. There's arcade, story mode, which gives a little story to each character in the game, survival mode, which actually has some RPG mechanics, and then of course your online play suite. And rollback netcode does a really good job of making sure you have a really smooth online experience, for the most part. Of course, not everything about this game is good, so let's get into it. I've only got a few gripes with DNF Duel, but they are definitely gripes worth griping over. There's no combo trial mode for training. I just find that kind of weird, especially in a game that is so welcoming to newcomers. Well, welcoming to a certain extent. I understand that this forces the player to be a little bit more innovative and figuring out their own combos, but again, where this game is clearly trying to cater to newcomers, you'd imagine they would at least want to introduce their players to the concept of building combos by showing a combo or two for each character in the game as is. Alright, so I stand corrected, guys. There actually is a combo trial mode. Turns out there are tabs so you can select different modes within training. So yeah, let's give them another point. Second, player lobbies for online play are broken in some ways. More specifically, anytime that I wanted to go into a player lobby, it was kind of a gamble. I would select the lobby, wait to enter, I would receive the prompt that I was entering the lobby, just to receive an error code, and I would have to research for lobbies over again and make another attempt. Sometimes the same lobby would kick me out multiple times, or even sometimes in actually granting access to the lobby, I would eventually get kicked out, sometimes in mid-match. Now this is a pain because if you play fighters, you know that you have to kind of warm up a little bit. You can't jump straight into ranked matches. But because the lobbies were broken, my options were to play against the computer or play against the other people in ranked matches. This led to me getting completely trounced on multiple occasions while I was either trying to warm up before heading into rank, or especially when I was looking for some human-to-human practice before starting my ranked journey. My last gripe is, well, simply some characters just feel a bit unbalanced. For example, I chose Striker as my main, and she is unfortunately the only character in the game without any projectile attacks. And for the most part, her combo ability and speed make up for the disadvantage of having a lack of range. But despite these advantages of Striker, there are some matchups out there that are absolutely abysmal. Specifically, Launcher is a character that works with all guns, and every one of her MP abilities and neutral attacks can go anywhere from mid-screen to full screen. And with that space in between you, even the game's attempt at a combo breaker is rendered useless simply because Launcher has spaced you out so much that the combo breaker just won't reach her. A skilled Launcher can pretty much land that first hit and then 50-50 you into oblivion and space you out anytime you make an attempt to get closer. And then there's of course my boy Grappler, who is another character that does not use projectiles and is pretty much operated through command grabs and slams and other throws. And while this guy may not be as fast as the likes of my girl Striker, He's equipped with moves that have armor that'll eat up 3 attacks at times and still move through them and attack you, opening you up for a vicious follow-up of a combo. I will say that these bad matchups aren't impossible, but when I'm online playing those ranked matches, there are absolutely characters that I have to get in the mindset of, okay, this has to be a perfect round in order to pull off this victory. All in all, DNF Duel is a really good game. It's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. As a fighter, it does pretty much everything that it should do. While there are some issues with the online play, once things are up and running, they are smooth. I'm just hoping that that player lobby issue is fixed in the future so that I can hopefully start to patch up my online ranked match record and get to a winning percentage. I'm really excited to see what this game has to offer in the future with balance patches and the introduction of hopefully some really cool and interesting DLC characters along the way. DNF Duel definitely has the potential to be one of the greatest fighters of this generation. I'm going to give DNF Duel an 8 out of 10. I want to thank you guys so much for checking out my review today for DNF Duel. Please drop a comment, let me know. Are you getting this game? Are you skipping? And if you do have the game, who's your main? Maybe you've got some tips for one of those good Inquisitor or Launcher players, or maybe not. Regardless, thanks again. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time right here on Blerd Lines podcast channel. Have a great day, guys.